meditation trips. Come on, stand up. Okay, you're clean. Am I clean?
You better be.
Yes.
Both of you better
Are you
be.
clean?
Oh, dear.
My nose is wearing left. Lights are like, you have a black eye.
Your high walls off.
Like,
Okay. I can start off with talking about the first meditation we did here. Who wants to go first?
You can. Okay. So basically, I went into and there's like these lights that are like passing through you or by you. It's hard to explain. And then like after that, I saw a fog, so I ran through that. And then I hit the door, like the door, and pushing and all this big. So I did try not to see the wall. Started casting and like something like opened up and walked in, but all I could see was like a shadow of a figure, and that was it. And I don't know what to call it.
That's meditation because we took it through the steps.
Yes. So what's next?
Yeah, you're doing
Neo. Alright, Neo. I'm sorry. I'm Nero. Nero from Street. So I'm at my first station trip. Basically, just like I laid down and like the first time what I was doing, I just started like meditating. What it was called, and like kind of like what he described, but like it was just white. And it was like at first it was wow, and then at first it was like very very white. First it was like very very like TV shows like that one episode of SpongeBob where where Squidward goes into the future and then it's all white because he broke the time machine. But otherwise, and then this like cool looking dragon came up. Like this is a year ago, so I don't really recall. I wrote it down, but I don't know where I wrote it. This dragon came to me, came out of nowhere and just came up to me and was like, jump on. So, she told me to jump on because I heard her tell from the jump on to I don't know, some weird Wild West town, like the Western, was everybody had revolvers. You guys started messing with me in this bar. So he said, let's take this outside. So we did, and then I stopped meditating and I woke up and wrote it down. That's the end. And what about Shadowstalker over here?
me, the section here. Your second trip. It was the same night, right?
It was night, so basically alright. Basically the second time I went into the castle that I was in the garden and this wolf appeared. So I'm sitting there and it's getting closer, not knowing what to do. So I started talking to it. I asked what its name was. I don't remember what the name was, but basically it befriended me, so I made a home for it in the garden, and it was like a really big wolf. It was almost as big as I was. So in this meditation world, I'd say my body was changed, so I was 6 foot something. I don't know what I don't remember what I looked like, but I looked completely different. And it was wolf was only as I was, so it was huge. And I decided to just near the end of this, I just sit in the garden with it and just stay there. And then I woke up and wrote down my meditation journal.
Okay, how about your second trip? Nero.
Alright, so on my second trip, I did start off Wild West town. Basically my meditation was basically Wild West. I think it might have been one of my past lives, in the Wild West in my past life, because there's been like a lot of my that well, I started like I was a friend with this one girl, and then my dragon just disappeared. And the second one, my second meditation, my dragon like it never showed up. This woman came up to me and said I left Kyra shooting someone. So I after that, when I woke up the next morning, I started getting around to know the neighborhood, and made a friend with the guy, the bartender, simple stuff, kind of like what you would do if you went to a new town and Chatham lived there. The sheriff wanted to see me, of course. It was kind of like a movie was going on. Strange. It was like I was just yeah, it was strange. That was my second time. No. Well, yeah, I had a third time, but I don't remember that one. I wrote it down.
I haven't gone on any more journeys besides.
You're right. It's been a year. I've been on like 200. I just don't recall them.
So I told you journal them.
I wrote them down. I just don't know where I put my journal.
Isn't like your dreams a form of meditation?
You shift into a different frequency, yeah.
Alright, let's go, I'm Nero, whatever you want to call me. One of my past lives, I went to a past life reader, my cousin, and he was telling me about one of my most recent past lives.
This isn't glad, is it?
Huh? No. It's who? You're next of kin. So he was telling me about how one of my recent past lives was that I was basically like this playboy, handsome guy. I had like 12 women.
Oh yeah.
6 to 12 women, something like that. Apparently they weren't getting enough, or they wanted more, or something, or I cheated them on. Anyway, I died. I kind of got stabbed by them in my pool a lot. And that's how I died in my recent past life.
Okay, well, you guys kept on saying you see people around.
People, okay. In this building that I live in, it's pretty crazy. Like, I'll be walking downstairs, and out of the corner of my eye, I'll be seeing like a cloaked figure, or I'll be seeing like. There's one thing. I'll let this kid named Soul, my brother, tell you about it. It's like but this thing that I'm in, it's pretty easy. Like, I'll be walking downstairs, I'll be like a figure, I'm seeing like. There's one. I'll let kid named brother tell you. It's like I think there'd be this call out game time. She used to out like I was trying to do what to do. I really still don't, because I'm not that far like into this. And she used to call out my name, like she was screaming for like help or something, but I didn't know what to do. And so it was like scary. But it didn't hurt for a few. Oh yeah. So.
I'll beat that out. Trying noise.
Basically, I see people from my imagination. Like, the reason why I took up the name Soul is because I don't know if it was past life or anything, but in my imagination, I have this person who's always in like a brown trench coat, goes down to like his heels. He's like tall, 6'7", I'd say. He has like silky black hair, and his eyes are amethyst. He always wears like a black shirt and like cargo pants. He wears like really heavy boots. And like I'll be walking out to go to school one day, and like I'll be opening the staircase, I'll begin to walk down, and like through the corner of my eye, I'll like see him almost every day. He's standing there like watching me. But I'll just go like think nothing of it, because I'm not that like into this like Neo said, we're like just beginners. And about the cat that Neo said earlier, like, I don't know, it was a few years back, my cousin came to visit, and this was like downstairs like 4 years ago, and I was only like 8 at the time, but I would see this white cat like prancing around the room, and I'd be looking at it and I'd be following it with my head and like my eyes, and they'd all be like, "What are you looking at?" And I'd say, "It's a white cat. Do you see it?" And they'd be like, "No." And I see it like around school, outside, like whenever I need to make like a big decision,
It really just follows us.
it'll just be there.
It's like a conscience.
Could be familiar.
And like when
But
he's
it's kind of cool that, you know, whenever you needed to make a big decision, all of a sudden that cat would be there.
and like when he said like that guy, that could be a guardian angel, that could be some crazy demonic thing trying to kill him. Who knows? It's like it's from my imagination, so like it's like actually
It could be
real.
warning you about something.
If like my imagination is real, that's like some really heavy creepy
I watched that in a
stuff.
movie once. It was called Sharp Boy and Lava Girl. The imagination people like.
Imagination can bring on anything. It's called manifestation. Anybody can do it.
So if
Maybe
I,
kids do it though. They
So-
do it better than us grown-ups.
I can do that. Like I've literally lit a fire, like just by using my hands, nothing else. I like willed it a fire. It wasn't the bad thing. It was just like this small candle. I ruined all of my matches using them just to smell the sulfur. I like sulfur.
Anything else?
Um,
Probably just those two events. I know you guys talk about other stuff.
Yeah. There's also events like this is not like this is just me like.
What was that thing with the fire alarm last year? Was that the other side, or was that the neighbors banging around?
That wasn't even the neighbors. That was like we'd like all be asleep, nothing would happen. Like our alarm, a fire alarm would just like go off like louder than it should be, and like sound like a shrieking like banshee, like not like an alarm. So our mom would like go into it, and none of the wires would be chewed up, nothing would be wrong. It'd like even be hanging out, and like we'd go to sleep with it hanging out, and it'd still go off, sounding like a banshee. Until we finally decided to get it removed and put a new fire alarm, and now it hasn't done that since.
We don't even have a fire alarm in it. We don't have any fire alarms in. I cut the wires.
Yeah, but was that the house alarm or was that the building alarm?
That was
That
a
was a
house
house
alarm.
Mm.
House alarm.
House like smoke alarm or something.
That's anything. I know you guys have more.
I know.
Something.
One time, like, sometimes if I really need to get into to a place, like through a door, and it's locked, I can just walk through. Like not like a ghost or something. I can open the door even though it's locked. Like one time I was sleepwalking, Shadowstalker came to, like, 'cause she lived right downstairs from me. I walked down through my, okay, so I got up out of bed, walked the door, through my door, down 2 flights of stairs.
Is that the
Through
night
a
you
locked
landed
door.
in bed with me that night?
Yeah,
And you
through
thought
the
I was your
locked
mom.
door and fell into Shadowstalker's bed.
I remember that night.
It was
Basically,
crazy.
like sometimes when I'm at school, I'll like hear voices down the hallway, but like this will be like after the bell, like if I'm getting a drink, and I'll have like my binder with me, and like I'll hear voices, so I'll run down the hallway, and then I'll like right at the corner, I could swear I see a shadow, but then I'll run like as fast as I could, and like I'd even get my kick, which is when like all your stamina just like kicks into you,
It's called
like you
adrenaline.
run as like as fast as you can.
It's called adrenaline.
And I get like right to the end of the hallway and almost slam into a locker trying to slow down, but nothing will be there.
Yeah, that's a lot of that.
And also like even a couple of my friends, Enderwolf and Ender Kid, like this was like last year, we all had like the same class, and I'll be like writing on the board to like explain a problem, and I'll just be writing on the board, I'll blink and I'll like be at the back of the class and everybody be like, where did you go? And then they'll like look back and I'd just be like in the back of the class and I wouldn't even know what happened. It's happened like 6 times in one school year, but that's about it. And like you could like ask them if you ever found out like who they actually were, and if I could like call them they could actually explain, but I don't have a phone on me right now. but that's happened to me. It's like I'd be writing something on the board like a math problem, and then I'll be in the back of the class like nothing happened, and everybody would be like, "Wow, you're such a ninja. How did you get there so fast?" And you'd be like, "I don't know." And that's like one of the really crazy things to do with me that I just like don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, there've been times where I just like go to school and come back from school, but I don't know how to get there or come back. I just start off leaving
And
school,
sometimes
and all of a
like
sudden I'd be at home. It'd be like an hour walk, and it'd feel like it would be only like seconds.
and like sometimes
You guys never heard anybody call you names out of the blue?
I have, like I was telling them, like I'd hear my name being called, like some girl like crying to me for help.
I mean, you never heard your mom call or anything like that, and she'd say that, you know, she never called you?
Oh yeah, that's happened to me like quite a few times. Like I'll hear someone call my name and my mom won't even be home. I'm like the only one home. I'm sitting there on my laptop and all I hear is like my name being called from home. So I get scared and I leave.
Yeah, I've had that time. But my mom's always called me a couple times. Did you call me? No. Oh, okay. How about, have you ever felt like you've been on other planets in your dreams?
Yes.
I
Yes.
was actually doing this mental thing with cousin. I'm just gonna say him goat. I'm just gonna go with ghosts. So me and him were doing like this mental thing where we like lie down together and we just like not that way, but we'd like lie down next to each other and we just like try and fall asleep, and like when we did, like we saw each other, like we were just like in this vast open part of space, I'd say, and like like this vast open space, and like we'd be standing there and I'd just like close my eyes really hard, and then when I open them there'd be a planet. It'd be like, "This is your planet." Well, ghosts would be like, "This is your planet." And I'd be like, "What?" And it'd be like, "You created it." And there was like a bunch of people on the planet, and they like weren't actually human. Like they all had like shades of purple eyes. Like it was anywhere between really light purple to like amethyst to like really dark purple.
Wow.
And that was like the eye color, the span of eye colors. And basically I would go to that planet and they'd be like, "Where have you been? We haven't seen you in like 10 years. And he'd be like, "I don't even know this planet. I don't even remember anything to do with this planet, even if I was here." So me and Zen would just like travel around this town that we were at. I think he called it Gerdasia. I forget, but I think it was called Gerdasia, the town that we were staying at. But we would just like sit there and we'd like do this at like noon right after we ate, and like we'd get up and it'd be like 8:30. Like after to us it felt like 30 minutes just to stroll around the town, like just seeing where we were, seeing the sights, because I don't even remember anything to do with this even if I was there, like I said earlier. But to the real world like this, it was like 8 hours, and it was practically already past dinner, so we had to like rush downstairs, grab a couple like hot dogs, because that's what we were eating that night, and rush back upstairs, like, because nobody was even paying attention to where we were. They thought we would have like already ate, and we were just hanging out upstairs on his laptop, just like watching YouTube, but we weren't. So that was like the time me and Ghost just did that type of thing. Also, like, me and him, like, whenever he comes over to stay for like the weekend, we'll always do like this thing where we like try and tap into like our past lives to figure out like who we were before this life. Excuse me. Excuse me again. so like I think Ghost picked up his name from past life he was at. I'm not fully sure, but I picked up Soul off of the imaginary character in my head. And I don't know if that was a past life or anything, but that's just like what happens in my mind basically. And sometimes like I'll even like be hearing people call my name like a few months ago when it was like still summer. It was like in August, like the 5th. I'd be like at the library trying to look for a book and I'd be like hearing names calling me from like another shelf. So I'd move a book to look through the shelf and nobody would be there. So I'd walk around, nobody would be there, but I'd still be hearing it from another bookshelf. And I'd like go through all the rows of bookshelves, but nobody would be there. So I'd be walking through the library, figuring out who's calling my name, but nobody was there. Like this was one of those times when everybody was like either in the movie part of the library or all at the computers, because nobody was like picking out books. And I was running through the shelves trying to figure out who was calling my name, but nobody was there. It was like a guy's voice, like 18, I'd say like 18-year-old, I think it'd be. But I honestly don't know.
How about you? Different worlds?
That's like what Soul was saying about the book thing. That's happened to me, only it was coming from a book. It was coming like from a book. Like I could hear it from a book. Like I'd be hearing it and I'd go searching for it. And it would be like this book would just be calling out to me. And I'd find the book and I'd read it. I read it. It was a very interesting read. It was a book. It was about it was about past lives. And so
Do you remember the name of the book?
no, I don't. I'll
Would
probably
you-
find it again. It was about past lives, and there was this one that was just like really popping out at me. It was like how I said, like this guy in like the Western days. He was like I don't know. He was kind of like an outcast. Like he wasn't an outlaw, an outcast. Like nobody really liked him. Nobody got along with him. He had different like styles and he thought of things differently. He had died at like 32 for I don't know. I don't think they really explained how they died, but either way, he lived like intriguing life till he was like 32. His parents, they weren't together. He had actually, sorry, I was laughing at something that I did. He had actually, he was like, I don't know, what did they call, he was law enforcement, you know, he was like a deputy or something. He died, like, this Western guy, like, really stood out to me, like, it called out to me in some way. It was crazy. Stop laughing at me.
Alright, Neo.
What about the planet you've been on? You said?
Okay, I've been on Mars. Okay, for
You're
real,
not John Carter.
I've been on this planet called, okay, like, what do you mean by planet? Like, I don't go on,
Like
big
other
spaceships.
planets besides Earth.
Did it ever feel like when you were sleeping that you went to a different planet?
Oh, I've had that so many times.
Not anything. It doesn't feel the same as Earth. It doesn't look the same. It
Like, when I go to sleep?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, like this one, shut up!
Chill, guys.
Sorry for the foul language, cam recorder. Sorry, cam recorder. That's my face. Okay. So how did I start? So they were standing there. So they were like the world. The core, like the inside underground tunnel system. And I was running from like these government people in suits. They were trying to kill me and this woman I was with. I didn't know why. I just had to keep running. And eventually, like I taken one of them out. Well, I didn't really take one of them out. I just like one of them got lost. I don't know how. If I didn't get lost, I was lost the whole time because I had no idea what was going on. By the way, they were like two white men. Their face was like forgettable. Their face was forgettable. Like the average man that's in a suit. You know, if you're walking down the road, you wouldn't even notice him. If you're walking down the road, you notice him. That's how normal. Shut up. And they were like, they were following us. They wanted to kill us because we knew something.
What do you know?
I don't know what I know. And then I woke up because, I don't know, I just woke up.
You got killed.
Because my mom woke me up because it was time for me to go to school. But also like another thing was, like one time I had this dream where, this dream, like, there was, like, I closed my eyes, I fell asleep, then there was this gun barrel, like a shotgun barrel, and like, the trigger was pulled, like a bang and then like a flash, like it was right at me, and then somehow I dodged the bullet, dodged it, like, I don't know how, like I jumped to the side, and he was chasing a guy, like the same guy, just in the suit and stuff, like in the strap, same guy. He was just like, he was chasing me, trying to kill me for some reason. And at this point, I looked like me and I acted like me, only I was way more agile. And like, I was running from him through the crowd. It was kind of like a fair. He was trying to kill me and I didn't know what to do. And then, thankfully, my mom woke me up before he could kill me. Because I heard, like, if you die in your dreams and you die in real life, I don't know if that's true. But, yeah, this happened to me. It's crazy.
Anyways, so like I was trying to say earlier about the planet that me and Ghost went to, like the grass wasn't green.
Oh, God.
The grass wasn't green. The grass was like purple, and the dirt wasn't brown. The dirt was more like an orangish color instead of like being brown. Like if you dug up the purple grass, it'd be like brown, like right under there. And the sand wasn't sand colored. All the colors were completely different, and like the buildings were like have you ever seen like futuristic movies, like space movies, and it shows like, you know, like hovercrafts and stuff like that? Well, basically these buildings were like, let's see, like 2,000 years from now type of like buildings. Like they could survive like a comet hitting them. Like they could survive like 2012. I mean, yeah.
It could have been 2012.
Like if 2012 happened on that planet, they have like everything covered. Like if a bunch of like a giant meteor shower with like meteors like 7 kilometers long, like coming at the planet, and like they were all like coming at different directions. This planet is like so high up on technology that like I could go to like the throne room of like the biggest palace like that I've ever seen in my life. No matter like how many pictures you've seen of big palaces, this was like 18 times bigger, and it like almost touched the atmosphere, but you could breathe up there.
It was huger than the Taj Mahal.
Like, you know how you have to have like gas containers up on the top of Mount Everest? Well, you could be like way higher than Mount Everest and not need like gas containers because the planet, you won't need oxygen tanks because the planet has like different atmosphere, but you could still breathe, and you can be like all the way up there, and all you have to do is like flick one lever or press one button, and like the entire planet will send like from different ends of the planet. It'll be like throughout like 15 different like parts of the planet, maybe like 16, there'd be like amethyst beams coming out of like giant like laser rooms, or like
What
you
is
know,
a
you know how people like down at like colleges have the thing that you look up into the stars with, that giant room,
It's called the telescope, Hubble telescope.
the Hubble telescope or whatever. Well, it looked like one of those rooms, except it'd be like all locked up, and it'd send beams up into the atmosphere, and it'd make like a shield, so like nothing could penetrate the surface of the planet. And like the language was different. Like they didn't speak English, but like when me and Ghost started speaking English to them, they could understand us, and we could understand them. But they weren't speaking English because I could see their mouths moving in like completely different ways than like the English language. Like somebody says hello, but like the people who are on this planet would say a sentence, and it looked like their mouth is moving in like 15 different ways.
Kind of like the Chinese.
And like humans would.
Japanese.
Yeah, it's like watching a Japanese translated anime, like an English subtitled anime with Japanese like talking, except you could hear English. Like all the words were like changed, and the mouths were all like moving still as you were listening. So that's how I knew they weren't speaking English, but I didn't know how I could understand them. All these buildings were like basically skyscrapers, except it's not like Earth destroying itself. This place is like so beautiful. It's got like a bunch of different types of trees that like aren't on Earth. Like their jungles are like the most beautiful things ever. Like the sunset of their jungle, of like the biggest jungle they have is like miles and miles and miles. It's like Nevada. It's like the size of Nevada. It's like their biggest jungle.
That's like small compared to like the Amazon rainforest.
Well, I mean, like take like the state of California and multiply that by like 3, and that's like one of their jungles.
Oh, that's
cool.
big, giant.
That's like a huge jungle, and you could like, if you go into the top room of the tallest tower in the place that we were staying, like you could see this jungle, and it'd like go as far as the eye could see, and it would be like so beautiful with the sunset. Leaves weren't green, the vines weren't green, they were like all different colors. It's like it wasn't fruity like gay or anything, but it was like different shades of purple. Like the grass was like purple, like the trees and the vines would be purple, but like the wood, I can't like it like wasn't wood. It was like weird, like the metal didn't feel like metal. Like if you put your hand on the metal, it'd feel like, I don't know, like soft, like one of those cloud beds that like you put your hand on and it makes an imprint into the bed. It'd feel like that, except it'd be metal and there would not be any imprints. Like the metal would feel like the smoothest thing ever, and it wouldn't get hot. It'd stay the same temperature. The metal would either get cold or it'd stay like room temperature, but it never got like blazing hot unless you put it into like a forge to make like stuff out of. And like this place is so high tech that they basically, instead of like carrying around like giant weaponry, what like the military does, they just walk in with a freaking, like, to any war that they fight, all they have is like a wristband and like a wrist knife that like expands, like Assassin's Creed, except it's not like that. It's more like an energy gauntlet that like comes out, and like the wristband would be like a shield like protecting their body. Like the military in like America has like full body armor that blocks bullets, but this thing would be like you can't see it, but it if you could like read auras, it's basically like an aura surrounding somebody's body, and they'd like walk through any like area, and they use blades. They don't use guns.
Let me guess, it's purple.
No, it could be any color.
Purple.
Like the color is in tune with your body.
Purple.
I guess like if somebody's like an angry person, their color of the blade would be like red or something. It'd be like red.
If they were fruity, it'd be like purple, you know?
Like and like these people were taller than humans. They're like, you know how like most human males are like go up to like anywhere between like 6'3" to like 6'9". These people would be like 7'8". They're like really tall and they got huge buildings and it's amazing. So we just like basically people don't drive. They don't use gas. They don't use like the stuff that Earth does. They walk places. They run places. Like they don't really use any like gas, electricity, and stuff like that. It's just there. Like they have no lights, but the room would be lit up. Like you know how like some like facilities like you'll be walking down the hallway and the lights will turn on and then on and like so on and so forth. Basically what would happen is that would happen, but no matter where you looked in the room there would be no light source, but it'd still light up. It's like really hard to explain, but that's like the planet that me and Ghost visited that one time when we were hanging out for the weekend. And we were it felt like only a half hour that we were there, but in actual point of fact, we were there from like sunrise to sundown. Or like noon to sundown, but that was like it. Cause we took like a tour of the town and like saw a bunch of buildings, like saw the place where people worked. Like they didn't have normal jobs. Like they didn't do what like humans did, like with construction and everything. They didn't use giant machines. They did it by hand, which I thought was pretty cool.
Like
the
ancient
the wristbands that they use like don't only provide like as a shield. It could like have you ever watched like Ben 10, how Gwen could just like make those purple pads that she could just walk on? Basically, they'd be walking up like a step or like a ladder, but you'd see nothing there just by like pressing like a button on their wristband or something. And they'd just like grab a piece of metal, bring it up, place it, like hammer it into place or whatever they do. You make it solid, do whatever they do to it, and then just walk back down. They don't use giant machines and cranes like Earth does. Earth has like polluted their planet so much, but this planet is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Anything else, guys? Anything?
Yes. See, I may be a kid.
I'm heading to the laboratory.
I've done a lot. I've been through a lot, you know. But there's like meditating and stuff. It helps. And I would just suggest that whoever's watching the video, if it gets more than two views, then people like